Hey guys, super casual. It's the morning, coming in here with my tea, no makeup, no hair, glasses, no contacts, because something occurred to me and I couldn't not talk about this. It's so important. The real reason that you don't win auditions is because you care. Now, I know this sounds counterintuitive. You're like, of course I care. I love singing. I love doing this more than anything in the whole wide world. And it's who I am, and it's what I want, and it's my dream. Of course I care. I'm going to go into every audition, and I'm going to care because I have something that I'm trying to accomplish here, and I care whether I do it or not, or whether I fail, right? But in the same reason that I have come on here live today, no makeup, no hair, no contacts, in my kitchen, right? You can see my daughter's art on my fridge. I'm not in my studio. I'm not in my piano, right? What I'm trying to tell you is that when you care so much about what everyone else thinks, about proving to them that you're good enough, proving to yourself that you're not going to fail, proving, all this proving, striving, caring energy, it cuts you off from the essence of who you are and the truth of what your instrument can really do. And so in the same way that I come in here right now, and I don't care what you guys think of what I look like. I mean, I love you all to death, and you matter, your success matters to me, but your success matters more to me than whether I care of what you think about how I look like and whether I'm in my kitchen or in my studio. It's the morning, I have my tea, right? I'm doing this to illustrate a point, which is that my teaching, my performing, my videos, my outreach to you guys, it's what I do, but it's not who I am. And by the same token, when you go into the audition, you care so much because in that moment, it's not what you're doing. It's not what you do. It's who you are. And that's a problem. Because if you have to prove your worth as a human every time you get up to sing, because singing is who you are instead of what you do, then you will constantly be striving, proving, because all that not enough stuff that has been conditioned, the notes aren't good enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not tall enough, you're too this, you're not enough that, you're too much, you're too little, all that stuff, this business is hard, guys. All that judgment that you bring upon yourself because you're trying to succeed, because you love this thing so much, and that's not wrong. But the problem is, if not achieving this thing, not making it as a singer, if that is tied to who you are, then every time you don't get the part, every time the note doesn't come out the way you want, every time the record doesn't get spins, that is a knock on your worth. That is a knock on your inherent being. And so then the audition becomes you caring to prove that you have worth, you are good enough. And that energy in an audition, that proving in an audition, sabotages the whole thing because it does two things. Like I said a minute ago, it cuts you off from being present in that moment with the truth of you, your gifts, and all that energy that you're sharing with those people who are listening. It cuts off that energy, and then you cannot make an impact on them because you're too much in your head trying to do it perfectly, get it right, so that you don't fail at this thing and have to feel all that lack of worth. So we have to disentangle the worth and the beingness of who you are from your art and what you do. Singing is what you do. It is not who you are. You have worth, you have value merely by being born on this planet. And too many of us have had so much conditioning in our lives, with our families, with our perhaps communities, society, religion, whatever it may be, that has convinced you that you are not enough. And so now you have this talent, and it has become who you are instead of what you do. And now all of that is interconnected and intertwined. And when you go into that audition, you are now no longer connected. You're in striving, you're in proving, you're in pleasing, so that you don't fail at being. So I want to invite you today to not care about the outcome. It is not who you are, it's what you do. And if singing is what you do and not who you are, that's how you start to detach, so that you don't care as much. If my work with you and my business and my teaching was who I am, and I was worried about being judged around that every time I put myself out there, then I would not come on here this morning with no makeup, no contact lenses, no hair, in my kitchen, right? The mission has to be bigger than the fear. And the only way that happens is if the mission is something you do rather than who you are. Because if failing at the mission means that you fail as a human, as you lack worth, you lack value, if that's how you're getting your value and your worth, then that fear of failing at that mission becomes fear of failing at your intrinsic self. And you will continue to prove and strive and push and all of these things that cut you off from your best sound and being able to make the biggest impact in performance. So if you want to win at auditions, then singing has to become something you do instead of who you are. And I know this might feel a little controversial, but I've seen it. And after 25 years in this industry as a singer and as a coach myself, I can tell you that that is the key. So the real reason that you are not winning your auditions is because singing has become who you are instead of what you do. Now, these are big concepts. These are things that have been conditioned in you, that you have been operating from, ideas and limiting beliefs that you have owned for a long time. And it's really hard to undo this thinking just by deciding all of a sudden, okay, it's what I do now. It's not who I am. I mean, it doesn't work that way. There's a lot of support that goes into shifting these patterns of thinking so that we are able to sing and perform to our potential every single time it counts, because we just don't care. I mean, how amazing would that be if you could go into an audition and you just didn't care. It just wasn't a thing because it wasn't tied to either succeeding or failing at your worth. And that's what we teach singers how to do every single day in my program and the deep work that we do every single day. So if this is interesting to you and you want that support to learn in a short period of time, right? It doesn't take years of therapy. It doesn't take years of voice lessons. It takes a very targeted, specific strategy that we have proven over and over again to be able to disentangle and come out the other side with the beingness and the beliefs that support what you want to put forward when you go into an audition, to shift those ideas and shift those limiting beliefs of singing is who I am, it's not what I do, right? This takes some deep work to be able to shift, but it's possible. And like I spoke about the other day, it requires going beyond your comfort zone. But when you do that, just ask some of the singers who have gone through and done this work. Two singers of mine earlier this year, Grace Tyson and Jillian Linkletter, who had gone beyond their comfort zone in many ways to do this work, to disentangle their worth and their being from their art and their doing. And when they did that, you guys, they won, both of them, my singers, the grand prize and the first runner-up in the big Best New Songwriter competition that was earlier this year. They were competing against hundreds and thousands of other singers for this honor and to get this development deal. And they won because they knew how to show up to those auditions. And you can too. So I'm going to put the link in the chat if you want to book a call with me to find out, how we did that and how we do this. And if it's right for you, we're going to get on the call for about 45 minutes or so. And we're going to talk about what's not working and what's been sabotaging. And then I'm going to share the same strategy with you that I've used with singers, hundreds of singers like Jillian and like Grace, to be able to make these huge breakthroughs and huge strides in their career, because they now understand how to show up with singing in a right-sized place in their mind, in their soul, in their mentality, so that they get to shine and they get to make a big impact in their career. And so if that's interesting to you, if you're a singer who has a lot of talent and has a lot of training, and you're just not winning auditions, and you're just not seeing the results of all of this in the form of the career that you really want to have, then book a call with me and let's get you sorted. So I'll put the link to book a call, pick a day and a time that works for you. And I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for watching today's video. If you want to subscribe, click the button right there that says subscribe. And if you want to watch the masterclass, which you absolutely should do, then click that button right down there that says watch the masterclass. I'll see you on the next video.